All right, hi guys, good morning. I hope you're having a good day here so far. Today we are going to look at evaluating expressions, okay? And it's gonna be our 16th lesson that we've done together. Okay, I never thought in my life I'd be recording so many math videos. Okay, so number 16. You can stick your date over here, top right-hand corner too. Okay, substitution property. If A equals B, then A may be replaced for B in any expression. Okay, so what does that mean? What we're going to do today is take out the letters or the variables and plug them in for their value. Okay, and then we follow what we did the other day with order of operations. Okay, so A, it tells us is going to be a 2. So underneath, I'm going to put a 2. Now, anytime we don't have, excuse me, a sign between two letters, it has to be understood that it is multiplication. Okay, so that is really A times B squared. So I need to take my A and make it a 2, and then I need to take my B, which is a 4, and I need to square it. Okay, because B is squared. And then I'm going to add on C, which is 7. Now, once you have it written out, okay, mine's a little squished together, so if you want to space it out better or a little more, you can. Okay, I'm going to underline. I know I don't have any parentheses. I know I have to hit my exponents next. So 4 squared tells me, I'll come over here, that I want to see 4 twice. Okay, which 4 times 4 is 16. Pull down my times 2 and pull down my plus 7. Okay, 2 times 16 is what I'm going to hit next. Okay, calculators if you need them. 32, and then my plus 7 falls down. 32 plus 7 is 39. Final answer. Okay, now this is the most important rule in algebra. So star it, highlight it, flip out about it. Okay, if you don't remember this, then this lesson is going to be terribly difficult. Okay, so what you need to write here, okay, you have to put parentheses okay, around negative numbers. So I'm going to show you on those calculators where those parenthesis buttons are again. Okay, so you have to put parentheses around negative numbers when substituting them into an expression. Okay, and I will show you this example. So 3 comes down. I'm going to leave a little bit of space. I see x is a negative 2. The minute I see it's a negative 2, I'm putting it in parentheses and my exponent stays on the outside. Only the negative number goes into parentheses. Okay, minus 4 and then negative 2 in parentheses. Okay, so I've taken my letters out and I've put my numbers in. Okay, everyone following? Okay, now we work through, okay, and again, parentheses would be first, so I'm going to underline here. Okay, now I'm going to find my parentheses buttons above the, oops, let me get my calculator on the camera, above the 8 and the 9 parentheses. Everybody see? Okay, so parentheses, you hit the 1 above the 8, negative under the 3. Let me make sure I have it in there, 2, and then close them. And then our little squared button is to the left of the 7. Okay, so there's what it should look like. Okay, you are going to get a positive 4. Why? Because when you square negative 2, you're really multiplying it by 2 of itself. So 2 negatives will turn positive. Okay, so you have to remember that. What I want to show you is if you don't include the parentheses. Okay, so I had a negative 2 and I just squared it. Okay, it's going to give you a negative 4, which is then incorrect. Okay, so you have to watch that. I will remind you throughout the whole lesson. Now, if there's no sign in between, okay, we can't just make it 34. We make it 3 times 4. Okay, over here, then I'm going to multiply what I see. I have a negative 4 times a negative 2. Okay, which gives me an 8. So I'm going to add on 8. Okay, Then I multiply, divide, add, subtract, left to right. I have multiplication. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 8 is 20. Okay, and I always square or circle my final answer just so that it's easy to see. Okay, so moving along. Now, what I did here in this lesson, I made, you'll see these are the same. A squared b minus b squared, a squared b minus b squared. But I gave you different substitutions because I wanted to throw in a couple negatives and stuff. Okay, so you'll see that they're well, they're the same, but they're different. Okay, so we're gonna look at this one right here. Now, I see that a is a positive, so I don't need any parentheses. Okay, but when I come to b, and if I need to put my little multiplication in there, I can, but b is a negative. So he has to go in parentheses. I then have this negative that comes down, or minus, and then I have b, again, which is a negative, and he is squared. Okay? So now, I want to start with my exponents, and I'm going to go left to right. 3 squared is really 3 times 3. So this guy is a 9 times negative 4 minus a negative 4 squared. Okay, so now over here, more exponents, but you need parentheses because it's a negative. Okay, so parenthesis above the 8, negative 4, close your parenthesis, x squared to the left of the 7. Okay, look on my calculator, make sure you see it. 16. Okay, the negative falls down times negative 4. Okay, I need multiplication before subtraction. So 9 times negative 4 will give me negative 36. And then this is always one that gets tricky. Sometimes you guys like to add more signs in here. You have to do what you see. Like when I read this, I'm not going to add in any pluses, any extra minuses. I have negative 36 minus 16. So negative 52. Remember, take your time and think about what you're doing. Okay, don't rush through, don't forget parentheses. Okay, so this one, A is positive, it's a 4. So 4 squared, B is a negative 7. My minus comes down, there it is. And then I have another B, which is a negative 7, and it's squared. Okay, so there it is, make sure you have it. Okay, now I want to do exponents. So 4 squared again is 16. Not again, because over here it was a 3, sorry. I was thinking that was the same. So 4 squared, 4 times 4, okay? Over here, grab your calculators. That negative 7 is in parentheses. Negative 7, close your parentheses, square it. You get 49. Okay, so I have a negative 7 here minus a 49. Okay, I need to do multiplication here. So 16 times negative 7 will give me negative 112 minus 49. So I always think of it this way. You owe me, gosh, sorry, I keep moving off the paper. I don't know what I got going on here. Move my recorder. So negative 112. If you owe me 112 and you owe me 49 more, you owe me a lot. So I will take my 161 that you owe me. Okay, negative 161. Okay, let's go to this one. Now you have to be really, really careful on these because you got a lot of craziness going on here. Okay, so we see that we have a negative in front of the y. Okay, so I have to pull that negative down. Now, my y is not negative, so I am not putting any parentheses. Okay, this is very important to remember. You have a negative out front, but if you cover it up, y is still a positive. So I pull that negative down, there it comes, and then I substitute in for y, which is a 2, and I square it. I then have a minus that comes down. Okay, I have a 3, and I know this is 3 times x times y. Okay, so 3 times x, which is going to be a negative 4, so parentheses, okay? And then y is going to be a 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2, okay? I know I need to do exponents first. And now watch what's different. What is different here? I don't have the parentheses. Negative 2 squared, okay, is going to give me negative 4. Okay, minus 3 times negative 4 times 2. A lot going on here. Okay, I then need to do multiplication left to right. So left to right. Oops, knocking my papers here. Okay, so negative 3 times negative 4. Negative 3 times negative 4 is going to give me a positive 12. Okay, positive 12. So you have to make sure you put that sign in there. Okay, now multiplication again. 12 times 2, 24. Okay, negative 4 plus 24 is going to give us 20. Now remember, if you need to do that on the calculator, negative 4 plus 24, okay, is 20. Okay, now same equation, different numbers, okay? Now, let's go back and look. This y was positive. This y is negative. So watch how this varies from what I did over here. I still pull my negative down. I have that negative out front. He has to come down. He can't just vanish. But now my y is negative. So inside parentheses, okay, inside parentheses and squared, minus 3 times x times y. Remember, negative numbers in parentheses, okay? Very, very important. If you don't do that in this lesson, it's gonna get ugly fast. Okay, now when entering this, negative, okay, parentheses, negative 3, close your parentheses and square it. It has to look like exactly what you substituted in, okay? And then you're gonna hit your equals. Negative 9. For all of this junk, that's what I just did. That's a lot. Gives me a negative 9. Okay? Then I go through here and multiply left to right. So negative 3 times negative 5 is going to give me a 15. 2 negatives cancel, so that turns positive. Okay? And then I still have that multiplying by a negative 3. So multiplying is next in order of operations. Gives me negative 45. And negative 9 plus a negative 45, okay, is going to give me a negative 54. Okay. Now, if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing yet, we're doing more. We're going to practice more. We're going to go to the back. Okay, I did the same thing. Okay, I made the problems the same. I made different numbers to substitute so we can practice positives and negatives. Positives, no parentheses. Negatives, parentheses, okay? Okay, so now, remember this is a big division bar, so you do the top and then you do the bottom. Okay, top, I'm gonna substitute in, everything's positive here, so I don't need any parentheses. A is a 3, so on the top I have 3 squared plus B, oops, I didn't wanna do that, I wanted to substitute in. Hold on, I do have my white out handy because I don't wanna have to scratch and scribble. Look at that, it's like magic. Okay, so I want to substitute in for the B. I'm getting ahead of myself. B is a 4. So 4 squared. Okay, look, you can't even see that mistake. Okay, now I'm going to divide. Okay, A minus B. So A is 3 minus B is 4. Okay, and then over here I'm going to simplify. So 3 squared, I know is 3 times 3, 9. Plus 4 squared, which is 4 times 4, gives me 16, okay? And on the bottom, sorry about the shaking there for a minute, I'm adjusting stuff. I'm going to get 3 minus 4, which is negative 1, okay? So on the top, 9 plus 16 is going to give me 25. And then be careful, 25 divided by negative 1 is negative 25. Okay, negative 25. Okay, now over here we have a little bit of chaos. Why? Because we have negatives now. Okay, negatives require parentheses. Okay, So a squared. So a is a -3, and if it's negative, it goes in parentheses. Okay, plus is still up there. My b is a negative, so it goes in parentheses, -5 squared. And then a minus b, so a is -3 minus b is a -5. Okay, do you guys know what, or have you learned in the past like two negatives or a minus and a negative? I like to say that they form a giant plus sign. Two negatives turn positive. So I'm going to do that so that I have less to look at. Giant plus sign, I call it. Two negatives, giant plus sign. Okay, now the top, we're gonna start over here and we're gonna do parentheses, so get your calculators. -3, close them, square it. So we get a 9. Okay, plus is in between, and now I have to do the same to the 5. Parentheses, -5, close them, square it. 25. Okay, down below, even, and I'll show you both ways. -3 minus the -5 would have given me a 2. Okay, or -3 giant plus sign 5 would have given me a 2. Okay, so add up your top to get 34. 34 divided by 2 is 17. 17. Okay, we have 4 more. Hang in there, hang in there. You got this. Okay, I always check. I get a couple negatives, so I know I'm going to have some parentheses on both of these. Okay, so x is positive. So x is 2. I'm going to start over a little bit further left because I see this is a longer one. Okay, minus 2. Parentheses, because they are already there. X is 2 minus y is a -2. Close my parentheses. So I have parentheses and parentheses there. Okay, minus z, which is a -3, and it's to the 3rd. Okay. Now, this is a little bit crazy. You have to take your time. We're going to do exponents first. Exponents, then exponents. 2 squared. 2 times 2, which is 4. I'm going to pull everything else down. 2 minus -2 minus. Okay, now over here, parentheses. Okay, -3, close them. Upward caret to the 3rd. It tells us to the 3rd power. You get -27. Okay. And then right off the bat, what do you notice here? Negative, negative, minus negative, however you want to say it. I make it a giant plus sign. 2 in a row, you're allowed to make it a giant plus sign. Okay, that's the only time when it's 2 in a row. Okay. Now we're going to continue. We have to get through all these parentheses in here. Okay. So I have another giant plus sign here. So 2 plus 2 is going to give me 4. Okay, plus 27 over here. If there is, let me see, no sign here, we know it's multiplication. Okay, all right, now subtract, add, multiply. We need to multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 minus 8 plus 27. Okay, now remember order of operations. Add, subtract, left to right. So add, subtract, here's subtract. Okay, I get -4 plus 27 is going to give me 23. Okay, now we're doing that same equation, but we're substituting in different letters. Okay, x is now a -3. So right off the bat, I need my -3 in parentheses. Why? Because it's negative. Okay, -2 in parentheses, I have a -3 minus a y, which is a 4, close your parentheses, minus a z, which is a -1. -1 to the 3rd. Okay, can you see that? There we go. Okay. So first one, grab your calculators, parentheses, -3, close parentheses, square it, 9. Make sure you're getting it. Okay, next thing you want to do before I pull things down is this exponent over here. So parentheses, -1, close your parentheses, upward, caret, little arrow button. Let me make sure it's on there, diagonal from the 7 and to the 3rd. -1 to the 3rd. Okay, is going to be a -1. Okay, this negative falls down, and then I can do a giant plus sign. 2 negatives in a row. Okay, inside of here, I have a -3 minus 4, which gives me a -7. And then my -2 falls down. If there's no sign in these multiplication, or in these parentheses, we know it's multiplication. Okay. -2 times -7. Okay, 2 negatives turn positive. So it's going to be a 9 plus 14 plus a 1. Okay, left to right. My marker's acting up. Okay, I'm going to get a 23, and a 23 plus a 1 is a 24. Okay, very good, guys. Okay, we have 2 more. How about we'll do A together, and then I'll have you try B. Okay, so A is a -2. So I have this negative first. Remember, you can't get rid of it. And then I have a -2 squared. Okay. Oops, sorry for the bell. Hold on. -2. B is a 3 times 3 times C is a -3. Minus C again, which is a -3 to the 2nd power. Okay, so we're going to do right here first. I know I have that negative out in front. So clear your calculators. I have parentheses, sorry. Sometimes I catch myself, -2, close your parentheses, square it. Okay, you're going to get a 4. But remember, that negative is in the front. It doesn't disappear. So now you have a -4, even though you just did this. 4, negative falls down. Okay, next one I'm going to do is down here. Parenthesis, -3, close it, square it. It's a 9. Again, this falls down, so now it's a -9. Gosh, I'm having trouble staying on that camera today. Sorry about that. Okay, and then we are going to multiply through left to right. So we have all of these. I'm going to multiply through. So -2 times 3 is going to be a -6. Okay, and then I'm going to pull down this -3 so I don't confuse myself. Okay, so everything is subtracting except for this 6 times -3. Or if you want to do, see, this is where it's kind of up to you. You can say -6 times -3. I'm going to just do 6 times -3 today. -18. But you have to make sure this guy comes down. And -9. Okay, so here I notice giant plus sign. Okay, add, subtract, left to right. So right here, -4 plus 18 will give me 14. And 14 minus 9 will give me 5. Okay. All right, I want you to try B. So this is 8B. You try it real quick, and then when you pop up, I'll go through it real fast. Okay, so pause. Okay, welcome back. So now you are using this equation over here. So we have a negative. I'm going to maybe draw a little line here because I feel like I'm on top of that. Okay, -3, and we're squaring it. Okay, -2. B is a -5. And C is a 2. Whoops, I don't need parentheses, it's positive. So times 2. Okay, minus C, which is 2, and square it. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start here. Remember, this negative comes down, it's in the front. Okay, so parentheses, -3, close your parentheses, and then square it. 9. Okay. Multiply all through here, so -2 times -5 or 2 times negative 5 will give you negative 10, or negative 2 times negative 5 will give you a positive 10. Okay, so either way, you're going to add 10 here. And then this will be a multiplied by 2. And then this at the end, 2 squared is a minus 4. Okay, so then multiplication next. You should have a 20. Negative 9 plus 20 minus 4, left to right, okay, is going to give you, let's see, negative 9 plus 20. You should have an 11, and then 11 minus 4 should give you 7. So if you got 7, you are correct, okay? Okay, now that is all I have for today. Tomorrow you will get your worksheet and you will practice on your own. So as you're practicing, make sure you have this worksheet with you, these worksheets I should say. And you have to make sure that you don't forget about this very important rule, okay? Parentheses have to go around negative numbers, okay? Okay, have a great day guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.